Hi, this lesson is going to cover adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing monomials. It's going to be a 2-day lesson, and you should have access to a worksheet that goes along with this. The worksheet has 60 questions on it. We will not do all of those today. We are just going to start. We're going to put this in 2 lessons. I will tell you when to pause the lesson in the middle, and then you can pick it up tomorrow. So the first part of this is adding and subtracting our monomials. On your worksheet, if you look at number 1, that is a 9v plus 7v. So there's a couple of things when you're trying to find like terms that allow you to combine those like terms. This variable is the first thing, and the exponent on the variable is the second thing. There's an understood exponent on both of these v's. Do you know what that is? If you said the understood exponent was a 1, you were exactly correct. This would be like you had a barrel, and in this barrel there are 9 V1s. And then we have another barrel, and in that barrel we have 7 V1s. You can see visually that those are all the same thing. So if there are 9 of those in this one, and we're going to add 7 of those from that barrel, that's going to give us a total of 16 V1. When we simplify this expression, or we combine like terms, that combines to 16V. Let's look at a different example. What about if we had this? 3x plus 4x. Is the variable the same? Is the exponent the same? Yes, it is. It's just like the previous problem, except for it's a 3 and a 4. That's going to give you 7x. Okay. Let's look at one of these, and let me remind you, you need to be taking notes. Everything you see written on this whiteboard needs to be written on your note paper. What if we had a 2x squared? Let's don't use x. Let's use a y. 2y squared plus a 3y squared. So that's kind of like in this bucket, we have 2y squareds. And then we have this bucket, and we're going to combine the buckets. Over here we have 1, 2, 3y squareds. Are the variables the same? Are the exponents the same? If the answer is yes to both of those questions, you may combine them, and you can write that as a simplified expression, which just basically means a compacted expression. So if we want to represent, if we take this tub and dump it into this tub, it would be easier for us to express the contents of that one combined tub as, hey, there are 5 y squareds in that bucket. That is a great alternative to expressing the contents of the bucket as we took 2 y squareds and we combined another bucket of 3 y squareds. It takes a lot more ink to write that. So when you simplify an expression, you're kind of compacting it or using less words, using less written terms. Okay? Okay, so let's look at one more. What about if we had 3x plus 2xy? So in this bucket, we have 3 x's, and we're going to combine this bucket with it, and over here we have 2 xy's. We're going to dump these in there, and I want to ask you, is the variable or are the variables the same? Are the exponents the same? Must have yes to both questions. And as you can see, on the expression on the left, our first term, we have an x, and the second term is an xy. Those are not the same. They are what we call unlike terms. They cannot be combined. You cannot simplify this expression. So if you were going to dump this bucket into that bucket, you would still have a bucket that had 3 x's in there, and you would have 2 xy's. They don't go together. You cannot compact the way you're expressing that. You can't write it in any shorter of a term because it's already in simplest form. So 3x plus 2xy does not simplify. This is simplest form because those terms are not like terms. You may only combine like terms. That's it. They're not matching, you cannot combine them. Now we can have more than one. So if you look on your sheet, your worksheet, we could look at number 2. Number 2 says 1 minus 2n plus 1 plus 8n. Now there are a couple of like terms, and I would encourage you to use a highlighter or some tool to mark the terms that are like. This is a constant or a plain number. All of your constants will combine. This is an n to the first term, and so is this. So those will combine. So 1 plus 1 will combine to give you 2. A negative 2n plus 8n will combine to give you 6n. When you combine those, that is what you get. It's important that you remember plain numbers, such as the 1s and the 2 in this one, are called constants. Those are the plain old numbers. We call them constants. The number in front of your variable, for instance 8n, in that term, the 8 is the coefficient. Feel free to pause this video or back it up so that you can get all of these notes. The n is your variable. You need to know those terms. Okay? All right, so let's look at some subtraction. And if you have already thought ahead in your mind, that subtraction is going to be no different than the addition. You're just going to be subtracting instead of adding. So let's look at number 24 on your worksheet. 24 says 4 over 3k minus 17 over 10k. Now ask yourself, where are the coefficients? The coefficients are the numbers in front of your variable. The coefficients are the numbers in front of your variable. Those yellow terms are your coefficients. The variable is your letter or your unknown. So in this one, The k is your variable. Are the variables the same? Yes. Are the exponents the same? Yes. Then that means they are what kind of a term? What kind of terms have the same variables with the same exponents? Look at your notes. See if you have it. What kind of terms are these? They are like terms. If you said like terms, you are absolutely correct. Like terms. We can combine like terms. And right now, since you, I am sure, have noticed there are fractions, you're going to get your TI-30 XS Multiview calculator out. You need one of these for algebra. TI-30 XS Multiview. Get that out, and at the top, somewhere in the middle, you're going to have a button that says N over D. Looks just like that. That means the numerator over the denominator. That means we're going to work with fractions. Push the N over D button, and you're going to enter the fraction 4/3 minus N over D button again, 17/10. 4/3 minus 17/10. And when you do that on your calculator, you will get a negative 1130. Now, there was a k attached to that. We don't really consider the k when we're combining. We only look at the coefficients. And there is the final answer to number 24. That, in a nutshell, is adding and subtracting monomials, binomials, combining like terms. On your worksheet, you're going to go all the way to number 30. And stop. In our next lesson, we'll do 31 to the end. You have 30 problems for homework. You must show your work. You must submit a copy of your notes for this lesson. You can take a picture and email it to your teacher, and you must take a picture, attach it to your answer document, or send it to your teacher, showing your work where you wrote these problems out and you solved them. Okay? So you're going to use a piece of notebook paper, not computer, not typing, notebook paper, show your work, and you're going to turn in that and that. Okay? I'll see you in the next lesson where we will multiply and divide polynomials.